Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Day 3 of the WESG EU and CIS Finals. We are here in Barcelona once again. I think it'd be a bit weird if we had moved for the third day.
It would be a great change, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're not anymore. We're not here anymore. But anyway, we are going to be going into our elimination matches. We've got two best of threes coming up for you with the following two of the quarterfinals. And well, this sort of first elimination match really could have been sort of one of the later matches in the tournament. We will be having, of course, Ukraine facing off against Big.
Yeah, and yeah, I think this is a fantastic matchup. I'm very much excited to see how these two teams do go head-to-head. It's kind of like a, I guess if you were to look at it, right, the closest you could compare is like a big Na'Vi game. But yeah, I'm very much excited to see how these kind of two teams are going to play.
So basically Big versus Simple then.
Yeah. But no, I mean, actually, when you look at this Ukraine roster, I think everyone was doing a good job of actually being able to step up. Edward, I was quite impressed with him. He's someone who within the Na'Vi roster kind of fell.
Markelov as well.
Yeah, Markelov as well, picking up that secondary AWP. And actually, we saw him main AWPing every now and again within this roster, which is something that I was a big fan of. But yeah, I mean, for Big, I think a lot of this is going to fall down to whether or not Kyiv can keep up the form that we saw him have in a few of these maps. He's someone who, and I keep saying this, on a good day, he can go toe-to-toe with the best of them. But on a bad day, he struggles in.
Give someone else the AWP, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, look, we saw them sort of slip up yesterday with the long comeback, which they ended up, I think it was a draw in the end. And it was just one of the most sort of disappointing performances. Oh, no, in fact, I think they lost 16-14. That was the crazy Wololos comeback, who they ended up topping the group. And that was actually quite a surprise to me that the Spaniards sort of did so well in that group. I was expecting them to maybe be the third-place team. Obviously, Space Soldiers was in there as well. But as you can see in the quarterfinals, it will be the Spanish side, and Big and, well, obviously Ukraine have to now face off.
Yeah, and I was going to say, whenever we see these teams go head-to-head, the maps that we always see come up are kind of Cobble, Overpass, and Train. So we've already got Overpass thrown into this. I'm curious. There's Cobble. Tom, have I gone and done it? Because
have you gone on HLTV?
No. Like, I mean, you're more than welcome to judge me, but I haven't. I can, you know, you can try and throw the doubt my way, but I've done my homework, Tom.
I really hope they ban Train now.
Done it. That's it. I'm retiring. 10 out of 10. I actually nailed that.
Okay. So who are we getting instead then?
I don't know. You tell me. Ryan Oliver.
Right, but he's a bit busy. I can hear him through the wall casting right. Well, wall is a bit of a loose term. It's more of a mesh. But yeah, we are going to be going into our first map. It will be Overpass. I do think that this should be a very exciting map. I've already seen some great highlight clips coming up from Simple. We saw that sort of with the aggression over towards mid on that AWP, but actually in the match we saw day one, it was actually Edward who really surprised me with some of the plays he was able to make. I remember him being on the site, managing to take 3 or 4 players down just in the back lines and doing damage towards the end of the round. It will be big to take themselves a knife round though, so they will be getting that chance to choose the side, and I'd expect them to go for the CT side, although the one interesting thing about Big is I think the one way they are going to definitely outplay Ukraine is tactics-wise, because I feel like, okay, obviously you've got the Zeus slow style, which he loves to do, and he will implement on any team he is in. The problem is he's not been, well, obviously this is a mixed team, so I feel like they can't necessarily pull off all the strategies that he would want, whereas God B, he's obviously got a World Trade team and one of the actual rosters that's still left in the tournament.
Not even that, right? When you look at Zeus's performance within Na'Vi, he couldn't even pull off his own strategies there, and that's like the actual, you know, five-man roster. Of course, since bringing in Electronic, I think you know they're going to improve a good bit on the back of that. But you know, he's not here; he can't play for them, obviously.
Well, he is here, yeah, but he can't.
Yeah.
He's in the building.
Which, you know, of course, Tom, big fan, really wishes that he was here.
On the desk.
On the desk, instead of me.
I don't know if he. I don't know how good his English is. I'm going to go with probably not that great, just off a random guess. Sorry, Electronic, if your English is perfect, but I'm going to have my doubts.
Well, there you go. I mean, you're allowed to have your own.
He's great at Counter-Strike. He doesn't need to speak other languages.
That's how that works, yeah. No, just to avoid any confusion. But about to be getting into this, Tom, you're allowed to have your reservations as to Electronic's language ability. I think we just got a quick pause called on, and I imagine it would just be like a tiny tech issue. We actually haven't had it I'd say, okay, I'm going to go on a limb and say we haven't had anything major happen yet.
Is there any? Nothing here is made out of wood.
The desk is.
I'm not. Is it? It might be actually. Touch wood.
what material do you think that is? Nothing else is going to respond like that when you knock it, but.
Should I get close enough so I might?
Great.
Okay, well, let's move away from it. Who do you think is going to be taking this? I know that you're a big fan, so are you leaning towards the Germans?
Obviously.
Is it Germans?
Is it Germans?
Is it Germans? Yeah.
I thought you said. Oh, I thought you said. Is it Germans?
No,
I was like, no, big R, definitely.
No.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go that way. Yeah, no, I'm gonna lean away big on this one. I think normally whenever we've seen them play versus Na'Vi, they've actually been able to win there anyway. So there's always kind of that to take away from it. And on top of that, I think they're going to be naturally the more favorite team in a lot of these matchups, just because they're one of the teams that actually have their full roster here. And that said, we can get this opposite effect come in. Like, you don't have to maintain the same sort of rigid style. And yeah, I mean, you can make a very good case for that, because Team Ukraine here, they have a lot of players who can step up, and within their respective rosters, 3 of them coming from Na'Vi, obviously, it is kind of, they have to maintain a very, very strict structure, whereas here it can just be, right, I've taken your leash off, simple. Feel free to go bark at the neighbours, mess up the postman, let's go.
Yeah, no, I am actually leaning further towards Team Ukraine, just because I do think Big so far, obviously finishing 3rd in their group against a mixed team as well, and a mixed team of, well, they're obviously Wololos, and I just think they've been underwhelming so far. Of course, going into best of 3s, it gives them a little bit more of a chance if the mistakes are made that they can bounce back, which I do think will favour them a little bit more, but I just don't think they're quite up to form yet. Definitely not back to the form that we saw at the major. And I think with players like Simple, if Edward still performs like he did, and Markolov even going near the top of the board, I just think that Team Ukraine might be able to just outshoot them in this scenario.
Well, let's see as we head into the pistol around here. Team Ukraine going to be sending 4 players over there towards B. They do have, well, Deadman in connector. Zeus to go down. Look at all the presence of Big over here towards this B bomb site. Team Ukraine going to be walking into the more stacked of the 2 as everyone is here from Big. They are going to be outmanned and outgunned, but Edward going to do what he can to open things up. As him and Markolov there, able to go ahead and get fine 2 between them. Next going to be keeping this push away, still alive and kicking, doing damage. Not going to lose God B, but Next, there's no stopping him right now. And with 3 frags, Tapson goes down, but Next with the 4K. And Big have got on 1 out of the pistol round. Next is looking wide-eyed and ready to go.
Yeah, a great read from Big, but considering the circumstances, a 4v5 on the site for Ukraine, and it almost works. Next only has 31 HP at the end of that round. However, it's still going to be the pistol going the way of Big. As said, the read was absolutely perfect. They had every single player on the site when that push came in. And now they reap the rewards. Edward had a bit of extra cash, so he will be able to go for a UMP. And there is actually only 1 rifle over on that CT side, so there is a decent opportunity for Ukraine to bounce back. And as said, individually, we know they've got a lot of talent on this roster, so I'm looking to see what they can do with the pistols next. With that 1 rifle, it's actually going to be pushing quite aggressive and doesn't have much support. So if he does go down here, there's going to be a decent chance that they can retain this weapon, and he will. Zeus is already going to take him out, and that is not the start that the CT side were looking for.
No, man advantage right now in favor of Team Ukraine, and quite crucially, that rifle is down. Over here at short, they're going to try and recover it. They go running on in, and actually, God B and Tapson both fall down. Now, Legia, he's going to walk into the slaughterhouse that goes down over there in short. And now, 1 man left, it's Kyiv, and somehow this round has gone massively in favor of Team Ukraine. They might even go flawless here, Tom. How have they managed that?
Yeah, I think it was just more the sort of individual play of Next, that everything from then onwards was them trying to stop the T-side getting the rifle. And the second I feel like a team gets into that almost mentality, a round can very easily spiral out of control. Straight away, the T's just waited patiently for further aggression, and then Simple catches too, exactly what we've come to expect from this man while playing on Na'Vi. Let's see how much money Kyiv can actually make. He will get $1,200, which is a nice little bonus for him. The problem is, Obviously, the loss bonus is only going to be 1,400 themselves, and I imagine, as you can see, they're probably going to force straight back into this one.
Yeah, buy to come on in. Keeve saves some money up, wants to go ahead and get the AWP when the buy does come in. So he's only got the D here in spite of making the $1,200 there at the end of the previous round. That'll be Ukraine making their presence now and out towards mid. They're just going to sneak on and play things fairly safely. Tabson goes aggressive over here towards short, but Bondik spotted it. He has Nex there to help out. Going to go charging on in. Tabson does go down. Bondik starts his hasty retreat, now has support from Markelov, and this is very well played from Team Ukraine. They group on up and make sure they don't lose anything here. Something that Big will need to learn a lesson from. Like, yep. Pushed up very far on his own, isn't running the risk of going down, just manages to get away. It's a two-man advantage right now for Team Ukraine.
I've not really seen too much yet from these CT side pistols. I will be interested to see if we do have a bit of a switch in strategy later on, because I'm not so sure playing like super aggressive against this Ukraine team is sort of the best idea, or even just against Eddie Zeus team, because they are just going to be waiting a lot of the time for those late round executes, and I feel like that could come back to bite them if Big figure it out fast enough and just play a bit more patiently on the sides, a bit more passively, or at least give it a go. Simple. Tag down pretty low, so they are going to send Edward in as the cleanup crew, and the rotation from Legia is going to be the only man left, and he's not even going to get anything done. A flawless round from Ukraine. Money will be made, especially with the amount of SMGs that they have, and now, while there can't really be an investment from Big, they do have Keeve already saving that extra money he made from the UMP a couple of rounds ago, which will be invested into an AWP next round. But again, as said, this just means that Team Ukraine can make an abundance of cash so early in this game. Sometimes winning that pistol and losing the second can be far more of a burden than anything else.
They got this one flash. That means the play just going to be rush mid, you'd imagine. Maybe down through connector. But yeah, going to go ahead and flash over from Keeve. He lines that up. They actually changed their mind. Yeah, they didn't spot anyone out of mid. It's not going to bother wasting the flash. And as they walk into connector, yep, Simple. How's he still alive? How's he done that? Keeve 1 versus 5. Simple's on 1 HP. Still playing it fairly aggressive now. Finally starts to fade away. And there we go. Quick clean up the SMGs. Get a plethora of frags. A multitude of money.
Yeah. Every single player, 8 grand and above. 8 grand and above. So we're only in round 5.
So it's looking good right now for Team Ukraine. They got a lot of cash. That's what they're hoping to take home by making it through to the LAN finals, of course. 1.5 million on the line in the long run.
3 players at the moment on Big who haven't yet to get a single kill. But this is their round to do it. The CT side, they're going to want to keep this one as clean as possible. This is the bonus round from Team Ukraine. They've kept all of those SMGs. They're looking to try and make some money, do some damage, and if they don't manage to win the round, break back in the next. That is the plan. The question is, how will the execution go? They only have a rifle on Zeus. Everybody else still has those money makers.
They're stacked up outside of B right now. Doesn't mean they're going to head in there, though, as Markelov now actually starts to clear out middle. Going to change his mind. Rejoins up with Zeus. Yeah, it might just be the play into this B bomb site. They have got, as you dubbed them, Tom, the money makers. The SMG is going to really do damage up close here inside the B bomb site. Legia going to be within the danger zone. Doesn't have head armor as well, so that UMP is made that much more lethal. There are 3 players for Big here inside of the site. A lot of this is going to rely on how Legia fares on this initial engagement. Sprays on through. That nade hits him down for 50 damage, which already isn't fantastic. The rotation of Tabson going to start to make his way into the site. Now Gobby and Legia have to try and step up. Legia falls at the first hurdle, but Tabson and Nex between them. They're going to mop up 3. Tabson in with a second in this round. It all falls to Simple. 1v3, but somehow he's made his way back into this round. And now in the 1v1, it's Keeve Over on short, Simple looks away, and Kyiv, he secures big their second round. Simple, so close. And that was a round where Ukraine hardly put any investment into that.
Well, yeah, that's the scary prospect, because there's still at least 2 rounds of buys coming back at big. And their economy has taken a nasty hit. They've invested most of their money into utility, so it will be 3 players currently on a UMP. Kyiv, the only one with his weapon of choice, and the T's are coming straight back in with AK-47s and 4 utility. So although they win the round, big need to continue to do just that. Otherwise, they are going to be in real trouble going into the next couple. Now, they have gone heavier over towards this B site once again. AWP is going to be holding off long, and the push looking to just try and come in once again, but Next goes aggressive, and this time it does actually pay off. Molotov will hold back Bondik for now, and actually Legia just going to go running into the blender. Gets taken down by Bondik. A second Molotov holds them off just that little bit longer, but the T's don't really have a reason to push anymore. They can just wait patiently because of that aggression from Legia.
Yeah, allowed them to keep things all even here. 4 on a 4, and as you say, they don't actually have to continue with this speed aggression. They're going to boost Simple up, and from here, he will be able to spot Gobby. Smokes dissipates. Oh, Tabson. Don't go back to there. Don't think he spotted Simple. Oh, he definitely did that time. As Next, going to keep things even. Going to drop out of it. Does finally get dealt with by Bondik. They're still committed to this B play. Kyiv's now rotated on in. There's 30 seconds left. Team Ukraine, their hand is forced to start to make their way under the site. Tabson keeps them awake. Kyiv's dropped the bomb. Tabson going to drop out. Simple now, it is just Zeus, the brains behind this Ukrainian team. And now has to make up the brawn. 1v2, peeks on in. Kyiv lands the shot. And big, they're going to go 3 for 3. They win that round out. And now they're starting to chip away at this Team Ukraine economy. I said economy very weirdly. Apologize for that. It's early in the morning, Tom.
Yes, it is. Well, it doesn't get easier just yet for Big. Still only 2 players surviving. Slightly improved by on what we saw in the previous round, as they will have a couple of rifles alongside that AWP, but the reset hasn't gone anywhere just yet, and Team Ukraine, all they really need is a bomb plant, and even still they'll probably have enough money to buy in the next round anyway, so that early economy game has benefited them quite a bit. Looking like they are just going to spread out a little bit more than we saw in the previous round. They sort of got stumped by all the utility that Big was able to throw at them, and some decent individual plays from Nex. And I feel Tabson actually just able to burn down the clock for Kyiv to hit the AWP shots was enough. However, the question will be, can they do this again? They do have a fairly passive hold this time. As said, I feel like this is what could work better for Big. Waiting for Team Ukraine to go for their executes, because that's where there's going to be likely more of a hole than sort of in the normal maybe Na'Vi team, or at least in previous Zeus teams where they would have been very well pracked. Whereas with this team, as said, it's much more of a mix. So that aggression may not necessarily pay off so well, but waiting for Team Ukraine to have to force the issue themselves, well, I even feel like that's something that Zeus teams have sometimes had a problem in the past. We talk about them running out of time.
Yeah, and while Zeus as their muse, their time is running out as they start to make their way towards the B bomb site. Zeus, the man in question over on short, finds himself down with only 20 seconds left to try and find the entry frag. And to get the smoke off the site, they have to get this bomb down. The entries have to come in thick and fast. And, well, Next is able to take one. That's the bomb drop down in the open. Luckily enough, Zeus and Simple are putting in work. The Molotov not enough to deny it. Legia peeks into this. Zeus is allowed to get the bomb down. And now for Team Ukraine, they're a man up in the retake. They somehow managed to get that bomb down. Even while Legia is there, Tabson going to fall prey to Bondik. And now, Legia, oh, okay, Zeus walks into it. He somehow brought this one back. Does get dealt damage by Bondik. Kyiv's left 1v2, but he's looked good so far. He's going to make his way around. The pillar misses. The no-scope caught off guard from short. The crossfire prevails. And Team Ukraine continue to be a pain as Big gets snuffed out in that round.
And this is it. This is the problem. The money was never really built up, even in the rounds that they managed to win. And because of that, they're just not going to have too much in this round. And I'll be interested to see if they do actually just opt to force, because there's still 2 players who will have next to nothing in the next round anyway. And Tabson's actually gone for a little bit of utility. I'll be interested to see. Molotov's already been thrown. Probably just used to hold off any aggressive monster push early in the game. Maybe sell a little bit of a ruse that there's still a buy coming on the side of Big. Or T side. Just grouping up. I think they know that they've reset the economy just with the amount of damage they were able to do in the last couple of rounds. And I think this has been one thing you do have to give Ukraine props for, even though it is very early in the game. When it has come to the anti-ecos, they've done very well indeed.
Yeah, from Ukraine. Going to be sending T players over here towards long, 2 out mid, bomb waits back. Kyiv wants to try and deal some damage. Bondik able to find that all day long. Man advantage right now up in favor of Team Ukraine. Edward going to go ahead and blow apart Tabson's brain. And now, only 3 men. All 3 men actually rotate up and towards the A-bomb site. I hope that that rotation is not in vain. Right now, push about to come on in. These pistols have to do damage up close. Start this push into the site. Want to try and take the fight. Sparklov took it out to God B. Should be it for him. Legia able to get 1 more. And actually, only 10 seconds left. Legia might be able to keep them away here. Luckily enough, Zeus gets it back under control. I was getting worried there. They only had, what, like 9 seconds towards the end?
That's the Na'Vi way. It's
Yeah.
the Na'Vi way, isn't it? Zeus always bringing in these sort of late round pushes, and it makes your heart beat a little bit faster every single time. But he does pull it off, this time at least. And as said, we were looking at the money in the previous round. There really wasn't that much for Big. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is sort of these 2 mini force buy rounds rather than just sort of gunning it for 1. I would rather just see an attempted break back from Big a lot of the time, whereas we do see them this time sort of having, as said, Tabson and Godby now investing into the pistols, whereas last time they didn't invest, or last round they didn't invest too much. Next is actually going to buy up another CZ. I understand that it gives you sort of 2 opportunities, but I wonder if it's more just the fact that, okay, now they've realized we actually do have a bit more extra money than what they had in the last round. It's just going to leave them again. But not too much. Kyiv obviously saving for that AWP. Godby going to be Molotoved out of the corner and goes down to 36. Simple is just going to be waiting back. He's got his AWP in hand. Pretty knows what this man can do. There's no doubt about that. He's actually going to be caught by the flash, and now they're going to try and overwhelm this AWP. Kyiv does manage to actually pick up 1, but Simple is very quick to trade things back with the pistol.
Tabson and Legia, both of them in the toilets. Legia gonna go down. Tabson, 19 HP. Don't know what's going on here. 30 seconds left. Time taken away. Yep, but in a second, that's bomb dropped. Tabson has to try and 1v2 versus Simple and Edward. 2 players that have looked fantastic here for Team Ukraine. And more importantly, he's got very little to work with. 10 bullets, in fact. Simple starts to creep on in, finds it with the PT-50 and returns that round back to normality for Team Ukraine. Now 6-3 is the scoreline. Buy comes in for Big. But the bank of Big is broken, and that is going to be Team Ukraine's golden token as they look to try. Continue racking up these T-side rounds. It's been a fantastic start from them thus far. Simple. Gonna go ahead and peeking towards connector early on. No one there from Big. And this time, looks like it could be a bit of a change of pace early on. They're taking a lot more aggression early on here.
Only really Bondik going for a little bit of a push. Once again, we have Kyiv sort of the lone man trying to defend long. It does seem like the CT side do prefer a heavier presence over towards B. And it does show, like, when they have had these B hits come in, they have been seemingly doing fairly well. Push going to be coming in to middle again. Slow, methodical play from Ukraine. Haven't been giving much information early over towards the CT side, and with Bondik still lurking, they can't really go aggressive. Simple already going to start things off, but there is Keith with that AWP, and he will control long. It means that the Ts are only going to be able to push him from one angle, and they won't have that flank covered. Simple's going to find another one and keep trying to use the edge of the Molotov. He's got to be careful because there's a man coming in from behind, and Bondik will end the German's life, leaving it onto Nex. And while now just Legia trying to push back in 1 versus 4. Will get himself a first at least and doesn't take too much damage, so may just be willing to try and push in here, but Simple gets his triple, a 7th on the board for Ukraine, and they will take a further lead.
Pause call then, ain't going to be a tactical here for Big. Four rounds behind, and well, Tom, I haven't been overly impressed with my German boys. I'll be honest with you. Saw Godby at breakfast, gave him a little wave, he gave me a wave back. You know, thought that was the sign that.
In my head, I thought you were just going to say, I gave him a little kiss.
That too, you know. Well, good luck.
It's just like, enjoy your eggs, and then just walks away.
A weird thing to say.
Well, he was eating breakfast.
He didn't even have eggs on his plate, though.
I wasn't there. I'd already eaten. I was up bright and early.
I just said it. I thought he'd give me the sign that we're going to do well today.
What did Godby have for breakfast?
I was like a little bit of everything apart from eggs.
Oh, thanks. Just doesn't actually know the answer. Just felt like throwing me under the bus.
He had, I don't know. I didn't really look. I was looking at Godby, not his breakfast.
To be fair, I think that's fair enough.
But here we go.
His magnificent beard. I'm jealous.
It has gotten better as the years gone on, hasn't it? That man has learned a thing or two about grooming. But Edward. Oh, keep looking to show that he's learned a thing or two about CS. He's gone up over here towards Party. Simple going to go with the trade. Tapson does wait over in the toilets. Simple starts to peek out into middle. There are going to be players down and connected for him to worry about. That's what Markelov is here for.
Oh, a little bit of bad luck going the way of the CT side. Ready and boosted. Seemed like they were going to catch off Markelov, and then Bondik pushes in to ruin their day from behind. The B site will be completely under control of the T side. Another successful anti-eco round from Team Ukraine. I'd quite like to see how much money they actually have left in the bank, because it seems like they are just keeping these rounds so clean at the moment. Big. Well, to break them is going to be so difficult. And it's already 8 rounds on the board, unless, of course, Godby has some sort of teleportation magic that I don't know about and can get to that bomb site very, very quickly indeed.
Wow.
Is this something you learn over breakfast as well?
This is where he breaks it out. No, so the thing is, though, is, you know, when I gave my magical prediction for these maps, and when you actually look at it, whenever this map has come up, it's the one that Na'Vi have always been able to take from Big. So there's always that to to walk away with this. This, of course, is the map pick of Team Ukraine, which has a majority Na'Vi roster. And so as a result, you would expect that to kind of carry through and hold true. So right now, Big, going to be down in the dumps a bit. But they shouldn't let it get to them too much. So they still have their map pick coming up next. That said, it's still early days. Tom, I'm making this sound like it's a lost game. It's 3-8. You know, he can still make their way back into this.
Also, the CT
the only
side.
issue I'm saying has got to be is 1-10, which isn't great.
I think the CT side could be a little bit more questionable for Ukraine, because That seems to be the case with a lot of the mixed teams, is that, okay, the T side, a lot of the time it's just, okay, we'll follow the strategy, we'll listen to the Deuce, we know the smokes that we need to be hitting, but synergy is something that becomes a little bit more difficult. Of course, a lot of these guys have played together before, some successful, some not so much, but speaking of success, tabseN with the aggression will get rid of Simple, someone who has been a burden for them so far. Legia manages one, but will go down to Zeus. However, Markelov has fallen at the same time, leaving only 2 players left for the Ukrainian side. It is looking like Big have their best opportunity yet to bounce back. Zeus trying to do some damage onto Nex through the wall, but godb will be there with some extra utility just to hold the Ukrainians back for now. And tabseN even manages to find Zeus in the end over the top, leaving just Edward to try and clutch versus 4.
Yeah, 1v4 for Edward here. Not going to be easy, but not impossible either, especially with how he has been in recent form at this event. Starts to sneak his way into the toilets. Caught him doing that at breakfast as well. Creeping in towards the A-bomb site now. Edward has the bomb on his back. There's 35 seconds left for him to play with, and there's only one man here in the form of Kiev. So as that smoke goes in, they're going to get the information. He has to clear the close angles. Edward will be afforded the bomb plant. Kiev can't deny it. Spray goes in, and never mind. Kiev finds the frag. Defuse going to come on through.
Yeah, more importantly for Big, this is the first time they've won a round and actually had 4 players surviving. So this is their chance to build up a little bit of extra cash and actually, well, hopefully string some rounds together. Otherwise, they could still be in trouble if Ukraine managed to break back. Simple currently with $14,000 in the bank, so I won't be surprised to see that AWP come straight back into play. And he has been off to a flying start. And something I mentioned yesterday, I expected to see some strong performances from Bondik because when he was in Tyloo, he was still playing fairly well, and it seems like he's having one of them today. 11-5 at the moment. Edward up there, and this is sort of what I was a little bit worried about for Big, is that if they do have a lot of these individuals, not necessarily the star players all the time in their team, but given an opportunity to almost just freestyle in this sort of sense, that's where I feel Ukraine can win. And at the moment, that seems to be what they're doing. However, Big, they've managed to get themselves around. Let's see if they can build off of it.
Yeah, so for Team Ukraine, once again, take control of mid early on. Same thing they were doing every single one of these rounds. No aggression shown here early on from Big. Kiev is going to be waiting, looking downrange with the AWP. Simple's boosted up over the top. That's a nice boost. Doesn't net him anything, but they get the information that no one's holding immediately close. There's Kiev to rally death downrange with the AWP. Simple. Trying to get rid of tabseN. It's the man we usually expect to see step up for Big, being dropped by the big man of Team Ukraine. godb and Kiev still up inside of this A-bomb site. Kiev going to hold down from truck. Up behind the big wheel of death dealer. It's all on Kiev. Peeks on round. Fully flash does manage to just escape behind the boxes. Now peeks into this in with a second frag, and Kiev, we've seen him do magic on this A-bomb site in the past. Times tick low. He's going to peek on in, but Simple does manage to find him. It's been brought down to a 2-on-2. Time is working, 1v2, sorry. Time's working away for Team Ukraine, and Simple has to save. That's the round. Once again, they fall prey to the time. Going to go back in for one more and a godb, just like...
Just like, you think you've won. Well, goodbye, godb. And again, we're back to the sort of stuff we saw before with Big, where now only one man survives. They're set up for a reset going into what could be the final round of this half. And, well, Simple still has a little bit of extra money that they can make sure that they have a full buy going into this on Ukraine. We do have a pause. Not sure if it's a tactical one. Haven't seen more. Okay, it is. It's actually for Ukraine, so clearly wanting to make sure that they get the last couple of rounds in this half. And this will be one that's quite crucial for them, in fact, because we could see them get sort of a 10-5 victory, which, if anything, I think is sort of deserved. They have looked like the better team in this first half. They've looked very good indeed. But at the same time, if Big manage to win this one, their economy's then on the brink, and it could end up being 8-7, which, as said, considering how well Ukraine have played, I think Big will probably take that, as they would have won the last 4 rounds in the half.
The thing I just love about Simple is the fact that he literally has animated his profile picture. He's just like that one guy you play up against and you just instantly report, because he's insane. But gonna be holding mid. It's actually flashed back. Simple physically eats the nade, but then he takes 3 HP. It was actually Zeus to get the brunt of the damage there in through middle. Now they burst out through connect. Keeve nearly gets caught off guard. Has to start to fade away. Does have support here from Tabson. Keeve very aggressive here on the AWP, feeling confident. They do manage to spy him. I think Markelov peeks on over. Keeve has to be cautious. Doesn't want to go down here. Has extended very far forward. If Tabson falls Keeve, there is no way he survives. So he's very, very reliant on Tabson in this situation. They've got him rotated an extra man in. That's going to be gone B. Next is playing from the heavens. Keeve spots Zeus. Hasn't been able to find a frag just yet. Got to peek into this. Whoop! Scopes in a second time, but still gets the frag. Zeus has gone down, and now man advantage right now for Big. Keeve is showing no signs of letting up. He's actually going to keep forcing the issue forward. He just spots Simple there, but Simple's quicker on the trigger. That's going to be Keeve taken down. The bomb gets spotted rotating, and it's Legia, a man whose presence within this Big roster is so often questioned, now has to step up massively. As they start to funnel on him towards him, he finds 2. That's all he had to do. Simple tries to do what he can to keep things even. It's a 2 versus 3 times working against them. Simple will be sent back, and it's a 1 versus 3 here. Oh. From Simple. He's going to go down to Tabson. And that is the round to go the way of Big.
Yeah, we are going to have some weapons juggled around once again. Big now with a decent chance to actually take this. I think they have dropped an AWP for Simple, who's then in turn dropped a couple of rifles back. So it won't be the worst spy in the world. In fact, it really isn't that bad at all. But it is now Big's chance to take this to at least 8-7. Give them a closer time over on that T side. And I do think they are a team that can definitely pick up those T-sided rounds. However, we did see a strong CT side come out from Ukraine just the other day, so let's not take anything away from the Ukrainians just yet. Simple is going to be looking for that opening, going aggressive with the AWP, and already Legia is going to be going down next. Oh, he's going to be tempted to peek. Actually, Simple misses the shot and gives him a chance to survive. I doubt he'll be getting a second one, so may not want to peek into that once more. The Molotov will, however, clear Simple off of the angle. And again, as usual, we're going to see this T side slow down a little bit. Look after that man advantage. On the other side, I think Keeve is going fairly aggressive himself. Simple, I don't know if he spotted him there.
Ooh, nice boost up for bonding. Oh, there's Keeve. He's been playing very well throughout this event. They're going to lose God B over here towards B, and now it is Nex here, stood alone. About to find himself in a 1v3 as Team Ukraine starts to funnel players this way. There's only 40 seconds left. They want to try and move swiftly here, and Nex, he's the one who has to step up. He spots Zeus out towards Monster. Next going to get flashed up towards short. Bondik's there. Now he's working from the mid situation. Zeus able to find that frag with the CZ, and it's Keeve on the B-bomb side, but that doesn't matter. The bomb's up on A, along with Edward and Markelov. They're going to walk right on by Keeve. They don't know where this man is right now. He's hiding. Keeping himself unknown, but that's all well and good. He now has to 1v4. Zeus hears the rotation coming in. Keeve going to get beheaded. And that is a 9-6 half in favor of Team Ukraine.
Yeah, a very good half for them indeed. And, well, in the end, there wasn't a whole lot Keith can do. We could see it was just hiding, hoping that they wouldn't plant the bomb, because there was only 5 seconds left on the clock when it finally went down. Simple having an absolutely incredible performance as ever, 19 and 7 at the top of the board, but there aren't really any slackers over on that T side. Everybody's having impact, everybody's having their round. In different matches we've seen from them throughout the tournament, it's been a different player stepping up every single time, or normally somebody plus Simple, as that always seems to be the case. But yeah, on the other side of things, Big, although he's not necessarily performing badly, I think Tabson is someone we definitely need to watch or see step up on the T side, especially on their T sides. Tabson is the man to sort of open things up and just win them rounds.
I also just think at the same time, God B, he's normally someone that we kind of praise as being this man who can IGL, but then also still put up decent numbers. And right now, no, okay, you're making a face. Not amazing numbers, but still better than 3 at halftime.
Better than 3, sure. He is mainly in the team for his tactical
yeah, but it hurts me to
knowledge.
say it right now. His ADR, of course, lower than my will to live.
Okay.
It's going to be a nice little cinematic here to head us into the second half as we can see Big spreading themselves across, not Big, sorry, Team Ukraine spreading themselves across the B-bomb site. There is going to be Edward peeking out early on in towards middle. Didn't spot anything.
We saw Big in the first pistol round with a very good read of how Ukraine were going to play. And, well, we saw a pretty much identical strategy from Ukraine in this round. Just go for that B stack early on, have somebody peeking out over towards A just to see if there's anybody going in that direction. If they don't rush into B, then just rotate off and fall back into a much more standard setup. And, well, we do have somebody peeking over towards long. The USP will have itself the advantage in that situation. The Glock at range still not the best weapon. And Tabson is actually going to be boosted over just to try and spot anybody out, getting a little bit closer towards that side. There's now going to be quite a few people rotating in from this CT side. 4 players will be on the site as we see the push, and Tabson will be the man leading the charge. Left blind, God B will be getting the first, and Kiev with another. Already just ruining this round. You wanted Kiev to wake up. You wanted him to have a decent game today, and that is a decent start on this T-side pistol.
Yep, Edward and Markelov, though, still stand here. No, they don't. It's just Edward left. Whoop. He's in the bank. And now he's in hell as he goes down. Trying to come up with a link between the two.
I was about to say, why is he gone to hell? What was Edward done?
He's actually a very charming fellow.
He's another man with a beautiful beard. I feel like we have too many, like, amazing beards that make mine just look pitiful.
I thought you were going to say a very English phrase that wouldn't have been appropriate.
Oh, okay. No. Either way, the CZs for the CT side.
Why don't we get them two to cast this game? They sound much more energetic. No, come on.
I don't know if they could be heard, but...
Oh, they can. When you're being that loud, of course they can.
It's getting me excited.
Yeah, I know that. I'm a little screech in the booth next door now. Let's see. It's going to be the buy for Team forced buy for Team Ukraine. Said the wrong words. Big. 3 UMPs in play, 2 AKs. Zeus. Formerly the god of lightning, had to try and be the god of bathrooms now. But Kiev was able to find him.
Yeah. Bit of a downgrade, but everybody needs a bathroom. T-side. I'm going to be rotating over towards this B site where there is currently nobody. They have all gone aggressive over towards that A side of the map. Rotation will be coming back in through the connector, though, so there is a chance that by the time the Ts actually realize, maybe there will be somebody on this site. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case, and I think once this bomb goes down, the CTs may just save their weapon and look to try and go back in the next round. Edward is going to be going for a bit of a peek, but all of the nades have fallen. The smoke's isolated off the site. The setup from God B perfect as ever, and as said, this is just where we're going to see the CT side holding for any exits just in case anybody is looking to push, and God B is up above, but there's no real reason for Ukraine to just risk all of their weaponry. Might as well just give it a go in the next round in a similar circumstance, and the Ts, well, that means they should have a pretty clean round, although God B will actually go down to the hands of Bondic.
It's good that he goes down there if you're a Team Ukraine fan as well, because when you go for a save like this, it's kind of very, you know, you're playing it safe because you get to take your pistol and armor the next round. But then if you go down anyway on the players exiting, right, you never took the chance to actually go for it, and you still lose out just as bad if you'd actually tried. We saw that happen a few times yesterday, Tom, and it's just not fun.
9-8. Gives him a second chance. Pistol will be dropped over to Zeus as well, so pretty much leaving everybody on this side even. We're not going to see that AWP in for the first round for Simple. Now, of course, this guy is definitely able to rifle just as well, but it does slightly reduce the dynamic of this team, and also just how aggressive he was able to go just the other day was quite impressive. We do have the boost in play. Legia will go down to it. Zeus able to start things off, and that will mean that there is a weapon to be had over towards that B short position, but based off these pistols being in play, it's looking like the T's are going to take this to long. Now, when you have the AK-47 versus a CZ, this is where the T's will have themselves a big advantage indeed. Of course, when they do get further towards the A site, that's where everything becomes a little bit more close range, and the CZ can reign supreme. So it's not going to be easy from here on out. If anything, Big are sort of hoping that we'll see a little bit more of a peak, and I think Markelov has just spotted at least one person over towards that long position. Aggression also coming in towards the connector out from Simple, so a lot of information being gathered, and we can see now that the rotation will come in. However, next turns the tide.
Pondit going to go ahead and keep things even inside of A. They know where he is. He's out behind the truck, but B's gone down. Now it's just Tabson left 1v3, and Simple gotta get rid of him there, Tom. Things are heating up a little bit here in map number 1, Team Ukraine. They managed to win that out. There is still money here for Big to go for a buy. But it's not great.
This is a massive bundle. I'm quite surprised we don't actually see Simple drop the AK and then buy up an AWP, but I suppose in this sort of scenario where you've just made yourself a huge amount of money, 3 AK-47s saved, and considering the buy on the other side of things, you do have to worry a little bit for Big. Looking like we did have a brief technical pause. But as long as it's brief, that's fine. A few seconds. I'm all good with that.
How about a whole day?
No, thank you. I will pass. There we go, though. Will be the buy in for the T side. God B will be the one to take the hit. Utility only on Legia. It's a minimalistic buy from Big. It's just come down to the individual play. They're hoping that Kyiv can maybe find them that opener. From the CT side perspective, they are going very passive indeed. They do have a big advantage when it comes to this utility. Pop flash just to look to try and hold back anything more, and Kyiv will be left without vision. Here now looking to try and take some pressure. I think Markelov may have just hit a load of shots through the smoke as well. Next, a little bit of bad luck going his way, putting himself down to 29 HP already. And because of that, it seems like they are actually going to rotate off and look to try and reposition. He'll be handed the pistol as well and takes that AK over to God B, which I think is a pretty reasonable decision. They are going to go switching things up, looking to try and take some control on A. The problem is there's going to be so many angles left to clear because initially they sent absolutely nobody over towards this side of the map.
Keeps the man on the entry with the AWP over at long. He has been on point. It's Edward. He resides over here towards well. It's going to be flashed back. That's the frag for Tabson. Comes on in. Now it all falls to Simple. Able to take the first. Thought we were going to see him spring into Simple mode, but nope. Got B in with the trade. 3 players left for Team Ukraine, and the decision to save will be called on in. They get locked out of A. Money is not looking fantastic for either side, but Team Ukraine can field a buy if they save these 3 rifles quite comfortably.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see the AWP come in next round for Simple. Of course, they can't really afford to lose too many players. I think with 2 alive, they probably will still buy, but anything less than that, and they will be Big getting themselves right back into this one. Of course, all of this comes of just winning a round based off mostly pistols and saving themselves 3 rifles. Yeah, as I said, as long as they keep 2 players alive here, they're absolutely fine. It won't matter anyway, because the remaining 3 are all going to stay standing. But we'll leave it 10-9, a close scoreline. But again, we've been talking about money pretty much all the way through this game. Big have been the ones struggling with it for a lot of this map. And if they do lose this round, well, whoever loses this round is going to be the one struggling, but Big will be struggling again. I think that's more the point I want to make. Simple, the man who has been leading the charge, has his AWP back in play. 22-9 at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends this match with a 30 bomb.
Oh, Edward. He's gone and spotted Keeve over in mid. They don't know he's here. God B does discover Edward lurking around. Keeve's going to get dropped by Simple. Tabson gets flashed by his teammates. Once again, flashes right in. Tabson sees nothing. God B will be there to trade. Simple just tearing Big apart right now. In with the second. Team Ukraine up with 4 men to 2 on Big. 1 minute and 5 seconds left. They're going to try their hand at something, but if they don't find any way into this round, I'd say in the next 20 seconds, we really don't see them go for this.
A lot left for Legia and God B to do. Not normally the 2 players we look to put up those heavy numbers over on Big. They're going to be needed to in this round. As I said, this is where the monetary problems can begin for the Germans once again. Legia looking for the spot with the AWP, but nothing to be found. Team Ukraine, they know that they've got such a massive advantage. I think some utilities even going to be thrown out to just try and slow them down even further. With only 20 seconds left on the clock, the rotation will now be coming in from the remaining players. God B spots out one, but he can't hit the shot, and Legia with 15 seconds, 3 players on the site, will get absolutely nothing done. Ukraine, they are going to take themselves a further lead, and this is where the T's could be in trouble. However, Harry, do they buy here?
That's the weird thing. I figured they would have definitely saved those 2 weapons, right? It kind of hit like the 25-second mark. They were still committed to pushing in. They hadn't really found anything that justified doing so. But now when you look at it, they actually can't afford to buy. Whereas if they kept the 2 rifles up, they would have had rifles across the board. It would have been fantastic. Everyone would have been having a great time. Would have been a great laugh, you know. But not meant to be. As now Legia's got a Mac 10, because just why not? He had extra money. Let's see if he can get any magic done with it. Going to go charging in. The Mac Daddy himself takes it close. Does manage to find one before getting traded out. Mac 10 doesn't quite pay for itself on the back of 1 kill. Down goes God B. Keeve, 1v4, only a CZ in hand. Can dodge the shot from Simple, but there's the man in the back line. Edward puts him down. Team Ukraine into a 12th round.
Yeah, and that will be a round just to make a little bit of extra money for the Ukrainian side. And that's the one, I think that's the big difference we've seen from these 2 teams, is that Ukraine have been able to do so much damage with the pistols, but Big have never really had enough money to consistently rebuy if they need to, whereas Ukraine versus the pistols have just been excellent. We saw it there, 1 player lost. That's pretty much how it's been all the way through this game. So Big definitely needing to sort out some of their anti-eco problems and get that money building already. Simple is going to start things off onto next. He has been an absolute menace so far in this game, and now Bondik is going to continue the hurt for the Germans as they now are left with a 2-man disadvantage. They will be able to take over long control. A rotation comes in from Zeus just to try and section off that area. He's going to peek in, spots a lot of players, and they could even finish off Tabson. It doesn't matter. Zeus will do it with the bullets instead. And God B and Keeve are now going to be the only 2 remaining.
Yeah. Once again, in a huge disadvantage. Down goes God B. Keeve's left 1v5. Zeus through the smoke. Nice and easy there for Team Ukraine. Going to be 13-9 in their favor now. Tom, we're approaching the end of map 1 here. There's no money left for Big in this round. That should guarantee Team Ukraine a 14th. There's no such economic woes here on the CT side. Pause called in. Technical.
Oh, don't start this again.
I know, I already said it. That's the issue.
I do wonder if Bondic's picture is so that he is James Bondic, because that's currently what he's got, and I really hope that that's the reason. If it's not, I'll be a little bit disappointed.
He's actually the pun king. He could come up here and replace you if he's come up with that. You'd love to see it.
Also a little bit of Pierce Brosnan as well. Not necessarily everybody's favourite James Bond, but I'm liking it. I'm liking the picture. I feel like that's not necessarily the most important thing to talk about right now, because we do have a tactical pause. It's
James
13-9.
Bardolph is my favourite James Bond.
I think he'd make a great James Bond. The puns would be excellent.
James
all the way
Bondolph.
through. Let's never talk about that ever again. Should be like, what gadgets have you got? Well, I've got 700 different keyboards and 40 different pairs of Nikes.
And a pair of Yeezys that have heels in, like Heelys.
Oh, I'd love to see James on Heelys. Either way,
Yeah, the picture will exist somewhere. You know it will.
Oh, I hope so. T-side, they're going to opt to take the hit here. Couldn't really force into this round anyway, and they will have enough money that they can buy into the next round anyway. But it is coming down to crunch time for Big, and they will have to string some rounds together. CT side have started to build up some cash. They're going to at least want to try and do some damage in this round, but already Edward is going to start things off. Has Zeus to support him. He does actually get tagged fairly low. But he will still pick up the kill either way. Next going to be pushing, and God B takes the head clean off of Edward in return. Saw a man lurking over towards that B side of the map. Simple will be missing the shot. He's got unarmored players pushing up against him, so realistically could just use that P250. Zeus in the corner, pretty low on HP, but he has teammates left to defend him. And Ukraine, again, in these anti-ecos, will make simple work of Big.
Well, here's the buy from Big. It's do or die time now for the Germans. Kiev going to have himself the AWP. Going to be a big round, you'd hope. Maybe making their way out through mid. There is a man there in the form of Edward to try and keep them away. Just goes ahead and retreats out of toilets in the nick of time. Out through long he goes. Oh, Markov, don't go back up there. Going to go ahead and retreat down into connector. Doesn't want to be re-peeking that anytime soon. You can see that's forced to hand. The rotations come on in from Zeus and Simple. Edward still over here in the toilets. Has to go ahead and retreat down through long to try and assist the rest of his teammates. Simple backed into a corner. Kiev opens up with the frag downrange onto Edward. Now Zeus. Gonna fall back behind Truck. This push taken a while to come on in, has given Team Ukraine plenty of time to rotate everyone up from B. It's going to be a 5v4 inside this A bomb site if they keep going for this, which it looks like Big are going to do. tabseN and Kiev doing the damage, but Simple still alive. Will be shut down by tabseN. It all falls to Zeus. And he resides on Truck. I know that he's there. Kiev holds the angle, misses the shot. That's going to give Zeus a way back into this round. 1v3, but God B gets the trade. And Big, it was a big round. 10-14.
However, something that's been mentioned all the way through this game is Ukraine's ability to just build up this money. So they are going to have a buy back into this one. Simple will still have his AWP. This is definitely the best buy we've seen from Big in quite a while. So the question is, can they get themselves back into this one? Of course, there's no draws anymore.
No.
It will be going to overtime if they manage that streak.
It'd be a confusing system if there were draws now, Tom.
Yeah, I know. Simple is going to be going aggressive. Has to be careful. There is tabseN just around the corner. The two stars, arguably, for either side. But Simple actually just going to have to fade away again. Early damage done to one of the Ukrainian players. Nobody over towards long. Something that Ukraine have been fairly willing to give up. It's normally Zeus's rotation that then goes and takes the peak back, as they're much heavier on this short control. Kiev has to be pretty careful here because they do have Simple holding the angle, but he will be smart enough to smoke off his opponent, and Simple's going to re-peek and takes Legia down early into this round. Has to be careful because there is another man around this corner. I think Edward may have given himself a little bit of a gap in that smoke, so Kiev Has to be very careful indeed. That's exactly what he's done. So Kiev peeking around this angle may be dead to rights if he isn't careful enough.
Yeah, Edward can do so much damage. Kiev has to check this, gonna go ahead and flash over. Peeks on into it, but Edward's fast on the trigger. Next goes in for the trade, but Edward's somehow still alive. He's been able to find 2. In the meantime, Zeus gets 2 more, and that is Team Ukraine in with their 15th round. They will go ahead and reach map point here on map number 1. Their map pick. Tom, this could all end here and now.
But you can just see it on the board right now for the T side of Big. Every time they win a round, they are instantly reset by Ukraine. And once again, they're going to have to force the issue. 1 AK onto Tabson. Definitely hasn't had the performance we've been hoping for. And Kiev actually only has a CZ, and he's the top fragger for this Big side at the moment. So he's taken the hit. He's given Tabson that chance to have one of those huge rounds that we've seen him have so many times before. The fact is, though, they need it to happen in this one. The rest of the team will be left with either pistols or SMGs, a bit of utility behind it as well. But in comparison to what Ukraine currently have in their arsenal, well, there is no comparison. Every player with rifles, every player with a kit, and an AWP for Simple, who has been on fire so far this game. Connector control is going to be taken by the T side, but not much else. They do still have to be careful, because Edward has been feeling pretty confident. Again, he's going to be using this one-way smoke to try and give him a little bit of an advantage. However, once it fades, he will just make his way back towards the site.
Leggy is held back by that Molotov. Now, we're going to go ahead and rotate the bomb up towards A. Leggy is making noise. Keep these 2 rotations from coming through, but Edward gets all the information he needs. He hears them run by, taps away, 1, 2, wants to make it 3. Got to be sent back. They do manage to deal with him. But he's bought plenty of time for these rotations to come in for Team Ukraine. Here's Simple on the truck. In with the first, make that 2, and Zeus is there to finish a 16-10 scoreline. And Tom will see Team Ukraine win out map number 1 over Big. But of course, you know, there is still more to come.
Yeah, of course, only the first map of 3, and it was the choice of Team Ukraine. I think you could definitely tell. They look very, very strong on both sides of the map. I feel like in both sides they're actually fairly dominant, and every single time that Big ever got any money together, they were instantly reset. So it definitely seems like Big maybe were caught a little bit off guard. Some very great plays coming out from Simple as well. Somewhat expected, but then Bondic had a huge performance. Edward, with his aggression over towards short, just seemed to catch them off guard again and again and again. And if they continue to play like this, I could actually see Ukraine just winning this in a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, but you know, there's still more to play for, and it's all at stake. Tom and I will be back with map number 2 after the break.